In the spring of 2026, a United States president authorized the use of a nuclear weapon against a sovereign state for the first time since Harry Truman ordered the destruction of Nagasaki in August 1945.
I never worried about it being a curse. I wanted a weapon that would win the war, and it did. That's what I was interested in.
The target was not a nuclear power. The country had no weapons of mass destruction. The strike was not defensive in any conventional sense of the word. To understand what happened next, you first need to understand what led there.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
This is Critical Moves. The 12-day war of June 2025 was the first direct military confrontation between Israel and Iran. Israeli and American airstrikes targeted Iranian nuclear facilities, missile infrastructure, and air defense systems. Iran retaliated. 12 days of strikes and counterstrikes. Then it stopped. It didn't resolve anything. It compressed everything. Iran emerged weakened but intact.
برای حضرات بزرگان آمریکایی روشن کنم مرگ بر آمریکا یعنی مرگ بر ترامپ و جان بولتون و پومپئو.
Its nuclear program was damaged. Its air defenses were degraded. Its supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, remained in power. And its position hardened into something that no diplomatic framework was going to shift easily. The months that followed were a negotiation conducted in bad faith by both sides, and everyone knew it. Talks in Muscat, talks in Geneva. American demands that Iran dismantle its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Iranian rejection of those demands. Back-channel signals that a deal was within reach. Public signals designed for domestic audiences that made any deal politically impossible. Meanwhile, the pressure built. In January 2026, Iranian security forces killed thousands of protesters in the largest domestic uprising since the 1979 revolution. Trump threatened military intervention. He sent an armada. By February, the United States had assembled the largest military presence in the Middle East since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. 2 carrier strike groups, guided missile destroyers, B-2 stealth bombers positioned and ready. The message was explicit: make a deal or face the consequences. On February 25th, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said a historic agreement was within reach. 3 days later, Operation Epic Fury began. NATO was not consulted. Congress was not informed. America's partners in Europe learned of Operation Epic Fury the same way the rest of the world did, when it began. The exclusion was not an oversight. It was a choice. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had been the operation's most vocal internal champion, downplaying the risk of escalation inside the administration and pushing consistently for military action over diplomatic resolution. When asked at a press conference whether the United States still stood behind NATO's Article 5 mutual defense commitment, Hegseth declined to answer directly.
Concerned, that's a decision that'll be left to the president, but I'll just say a lot has been laid bare. A lot has been shown to the world about what our allies would be willing to do for the United States of America when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world. These are missiles that don't even range the United States of America. They range allies and others, and yet when we ask for additional assistance or simple access basing and overflight.
What the alliance would get instead was a message: stand with us or be remembered for not doing so. Trump was more direct. He called NATO a paper tiger. He said he would have never been swayed by it. When Britain declined to participate in the strikes, and France refused American military aircraft use of its airspace, he singled both countries out publicly by name. The alliance that had defined Western security for 77 years had been told, in effect, that this war was not its business. Just after 6 in the morning, on February 28th, CENTCOM announced that American and partner forces had begun airstrikes in Iran. What followed was the largest single air operation in the history of the United States military. Nearly 900 strikes in 12 hours. B-2 stealth bombers hit fortified ballistic missile facilities. Tomahawk missiles struck command and control infrastructure across the country. The Israeli Air Force executed decapitation strikes targeting Iranian leadership simultaneously across multiple locations. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed in the opening hours. By the end of the first day, American military planners described the operation as a success. Iran disagreed. The Iranian response began within hours. Missile and drone strikes against US bases across the region, strikes on Israel, strikes on Gulf states that had quietly facilitated American operations. Every proxy network Iran had built across 2 decades of regional expansion activated simultaneously. Hezbollah, the Houthis, militia forces across Iraq. And then Iran did the one thing American planners had gamed for but hoped wouldn't happen. On March 2nd, 2026, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps closed the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil passes through a waterway 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. Every day, roughly 15 million barrels of crude oil, liquefied natural gas, and petroleum products move through the strait to the markets of Asia and Europe. On March 2nd, that movement stopped. Insurance companies withdrew war risk coverage. Shipping companies halted sailings. Traffic through the strait fell from 150 vessels per day to fewer than 20. Oil prices surged past $120 per barrel. Iraq shut down its Rumaila oil field because storage was full and tankers couldn't move. Qatar declared force majeure on its liquefied natural gas contracts. The United States launched a military campaign to force the strait open on March 19th. It failed. 6 weeks passed. The economic damage was no longer theoretical. Oil approaching $200 per barrel. Fertilizer prices up 50% with spring planting season beginning. European gas storage at historic lows. Asian economies entering crisis. American fuel prices climbing past levels that had ended presidencies before. In Washington, the political pressure was becoming unbearable, and then Israeli intelligence found them. The new Iranian leadership, the officials who had replaced Khamenei, and the others killed in epic fury. A bunker on the outskirts of Tehran, a location, a moment. The question that reached the Oval Office was not whether the target was valid. It was whether conventional munitions capable of penetrating the bunker's depth were available in the time frame the intelligence window allowed. They were not. What was available was a B-61 nuclear gravity bomb, modified. A bunker-penetrating variant, 100 kilotons, deliverable by the B-2 aircraft already in theatre. The order was given. The weapon detonated in the early hours. The bunker was destroyed. Iranian state media went silent. For the first time since Nagasaki, a nuclear weapon had been used in combat. The Strait of Hormuz remained closed. The habit that had held for 80 years was gone. And everything that follows is consequence.